Hello, this is Small Biz David, and this is a very special day in the life of Small Biz David. It's because I have one of my favoriteest people in the whole world to talk to today, and I am honored and proud to say that Barbara and I started doing video chatting 10 years ago. Before it was fashionable, Barbara. You and I are some of the early, we're definitely
pioneers.
Small business pioneers. You have been the greatest source of information and all the things that I do. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
This is year 25 for your book.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. And it's been a bestseller for 20. What is it like to be a best-selling author for 25 years?
Well, don't get carried away. It's not like being Stephen King or Rollins or anything like that.
You don't get $1 million advances?
No, I don't get $1 million advances. I don't sell millions of copies. These are trade publications, but they're solid and they're a good, trusted resource.
Do you literally take a year to write this book? I mean, you're just...
Well, yeah, it's an ongoing project. It's not something you sit down and do in a day, and it's just because things continually change. And not only do they change, but I have to post an online supplement in February to update everything that's happened since publication in the beginning of November till then, because there are going to be new things.
I think I can safely say, Barbara, that there's only one entity that creates more small business information than you do, and you're a contributor to them, and that's the Small Business Association.
I'm a guest blogger for the SBA, yes.
December is National Write Your Business Plan Month.
That is correct.
And it's something, obviously, that the SBA has been promoting.
Of course.
And so I went to you provided a link, I guess, to their website, and
to their website, and probably to B Plans, which is a software option that has a lot of free templates and really solid information.
Okay, so talk a little bit, Barbara, why a business plan is so essential and vitally important.
Well, I think first of all, when you think of a business plan, don't think of it as sitting down and writing a term paper. It's really just sitting down and thinking about various aspects for your business. And it doesn't have to be some formal document. It's really an ongoing report that you measure your progress against. So in a business plan, you will say, we plan to sell X number of things in this amount of time. And then as time goes along, you're going to compare, well, what were my projected expenses? Did I come in higher or lower? Do I need to make adjustments? Do I need to adjust my price? Do I need to bring in more people? Do I need to change my supply chain? So basically, it's kind of a thought document, if you will. It's more of a living kind of thing, and every business should have some kind of plan and make a commitment to review it regularly so you know if you're on target and if you need to make adjustments, or if you're doing better than expected, what does that mean for you?
Where are we today on that? What's happening at the SBA and loans, and is that opened up a little bit, or?
Well, I think it's easier for small businesses to get money today because there are new alternatives. You don't have to necessarily go the route of an SBA loan. And in fact, that might not be even available to you if you just, for example, if you're just starting out. But there are alternative financing options now available, such as equity crowdfunding, that you can go through a platform. And in fact, you can either take a loan or just raise money for donations, or do it by equity, giving out interest in your business. And that's a lot of businesses these days are getting at least seed money that way.
Discussion number 2. In light of the recent elections and what is going on in Washington, if anybody can figure out what is going on in Washington. What do you see the new Congress, the 116th Congress, I think, its impact on small business, and what are your projections for the next couple years?
One of the things that I did see, in fact, today was a number of tax provisions expired at the end of 2017 and have not even been extended yet for 2018.
Wow.
And now they said they're not going to take up an extender bill probably until the new Congress. So which is what they did last year too. I mean, if you recall. So if they decide to extend certain provisions, we might not know about it until into the tax filing season. So businesses may and owners may have to file extensions for their returns, take a wait and see, and that's the best course of action. As to Tax Reform 2.0, which has some of the bills have passed the House, some have not. I don't see too much going on going forward. I think that we're going to have a Congress that's not going to do much of anything. We perhaps will see various isolated provisions move forward. There have been proposals, for example, with respect to retirement plans that we could see happening. I'm not sure that we're going to see a whole lot. There are 2 tax breaks that are set to expire at the end of 2019, and so Congress may want to do something with those. One is the work opportunity tax credit, and the other is the paid family and medical leave credit, which was created by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act for 2018 and 2019. So I guess Congress may want to see how many businesses take advantage of the new credit for 2018 in deciding whether to extend it beyond 2019.
Do you think there's going to be a new attitude towards small business in Washington based upon the fact that, okay, the House of Representatives have changed political parties, the Senate has gotten stronger with the Republican Party. Who knows where our president stands on small business? Because I don't think I've ever heard him make a comment about small business, being a small business owner.
Well, my feeling about what Congress and the administration will do is that a lot is said about small business, but there's not a great amount. But I will point out one thing. Now, in the NAFTA replacement, the new treaty, the Mexico, U.S., Canada trade agreement, there is a special, for the first time ever, a special provision for small business, consideration for small business. So, yeah, so that's a really positive, brand new development. You got to give the administration kudos for that one. And again, that measure has to be ratified by the Senate.
Okay, now let's get down to the heart of the discussion and talk about small business taxes 2019. I want to read something here. While it is the #1 bestseller in tax law, and it's available now, and I believe that these are your words as opposed to anybody else's. I think these are your words. The Small Business Owner's Ultimate Guide to a Money-Saving, Stress-Free Tax Season, updated to cover changes from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and other legislation. This edition includes an e-supplement covering additional developments from Congress and the IRS to keep you fully up to date. I am proud, wow, these are your words. I am proud to say it's the 25th year of the original publication, and it's all new for 2018 returns and year-round tax planning. So congratulations to you for this effort that started 25 years ago. And there is plenty of reason to say that Barbara Weltman is the #1 small business tax expert in the world.
It was extremely challenging this year because there are many new provisions that we do not have complete guidance on. So we don't really know all of the rules. And it's hard to explain and say, see the supplement, see the supplement, see the supplement. But unfortunately, that's rather than saying something that's incorrect, just saying that we don't know. And we have to wait and see. I will say one thing, that the IRS you have to give them credit. They have been so overwhelmed with this new law, and they have done a masterful job in coming out with an awful lot of guidance and draft forms for all the new provisions and updates to all the old provisions. But there's just so much, and that's the thing. And the new commissioner is he's a tax practitioner and very well respected, and I have a lot of confidence in what he puts forth, because I think he knows that people have to work with the rules that come out. They can't just be these general esoteric kind of things. They have to be bread and butter kind of guidance. So I'm hopeful, and I think again you can't criticize the IRS. They've done so much so far, but we need so much more.
Well, and that essentially creates additional value to your book, because in layman terms, you take all this information and you explain it. Let's talk about the format a little bit. And it's a lovely, very user-friendly format where you state the code, whatever it might be, you explain it, and you give an example of that put to work. Very simple, boom, 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 here it is. Here's how it applies to you. So it makes it easy for the reader of the book to understand all the complexity of the tax code.
Let me tell you, there's a brand new chapter called the Qualified Business Income Deduction.
It's 21.
21. Okay. So that is the hottest topic this year, because this is a new write-off for owners of pass-through entities, which most small businesses in the U.S. are. Meaning if you're an owner of an S corporation, a partnership, a limited liability company, a sole proprietorship, even an independent contractor, you're a pass-through. And there's a new personal deduction based on your business income, and it's 20% of qualified business income. If your taxable income on your personal return is up to a certain amount, and if it goes, and that's flat 20%. If it goes over that, then you have limitations. It gets very, very complicated. And if you are in a specified service trade or business, like a lawyer, accountant, an athlete, a consultant, then you have an additional limitation where if your income reaches a certain point, you get zero. No write-off. But this is a deduction that it's a new line on Form 1040 that comes right after you enter your standard deduction or your itemized deductions. And then the next line is qualified business income deduction, and it effectively reduces the tax rate on your business profits substantially. It's just it. You don't have to expend any extra money. You get it if you qualify for it.
Wow, I will be sure, Barbara, that as I talk about the book and put it out there, that we say read chapter 21 if you don't read any other chapter in the book.
Absolutely.
And how much money did you just save, folks? How much money did you just save, folks, by millions upon millions of dollars?
Well, the good news is that for most, I think it's more than 90% now of small business owners either use a paid professional or use software. They're not sitting down with my book or IRS instructions and trying to figure things out there. So software or your tax pro will prompt you for information needed to take advantage of all of the tax breaks.
Let me share something that you were responsible for some thinking that I did 6 years ago. I bought some software and I went through the process of creating a return. Now, I didn't feel strongly enough that that's what I wanted to submit to the IRS, but what it did for me, it showed me things about my business that I never really stopped to look at. So I took that completed form to my CPA, and my CPA didn't charge me the regular
Full price.
fee.
Full price.
Full price.
Right.
I had done not given a box of receipts. I took the box of receipts and put it on the form, and he spent an hour auditing my own report, and we submitted it, and he charged him for an hour, a basic hour of time. And it was a wonderful experience. Not only did I save a bunch of money, but that's irrelevant. What it was, it helped me to learn about my business.
Well, one of the goals of my book, which I try to get across when we said year-round tax planning, we have to recognize that as business owners, we have to make decisions that have tax implications. We don't necessarily go to our tax pro in deciding whether to hire an employee or use an independent contractor, but that has ramifications tax-wise. And so I try throughout the book to point out situations where you want to give thought to which road you want to take. I mean, do you want to buy or lease a vehicle, or do you want to buy or lease your office? And I think that we as business owners have to take responsibility for our taxes, to understand certain basic concepts so we can operate in the best way possible. Not, obviously, annual tax preparation is one thing, but it's really ongoing operations that I try to make people sensitive to.
One thing I don't think I've ever asked you in all the years that we've been talking, in your career as a small business owner, have you had employees, or have most of your work done with 1099s?
I've done 10. Right now I have a virtual assistant in another state. We've been working together for 10 years. I've never met her face to face, and she bills me for her time.
And that's been pretty much your career.
And the same with I outsource my IT. I have an IT company. I have an outside bookkeeper, and it just I don't require full-time employees to be present.
Just earlier today, there was a Facebook posting, and I remember it, but I haven't thought about it for a long time. I only have had employees 1 year in my life. And it just so happens there was a posting today in Facebook about that 1 year that I had.
Well, we're living in the era of the gig economy, where there is easy access to whatever kinds of services, skills, and such that you require. There are websites to easily find people, to vet them, and to engage them. So,
Barbara, as I was reading I don't know, what do you call the first of every month? What do you call that?
Big Ideas for Small Business newsletter.
You give about a dozen really good ideas.
Well, they're my blogs I post 2 blogs every week, and so they're a collection of the blogs and references to posts that I do on other sites, such as the SBA and Inc. and Small Biz Trends.
So thank goodness you have someone that keeps track of all this tons of information that you generate.
You're absolutely right.
Thank goodness we live in the E-age, huh? I want to throw, I picked a couple topics. I just, fast responses from you, you cover everything in your book. Well, actually, it was a summary of the book in your own words. One section was a new retirement plan and benefit limits for 2019. We talked about.
Well, there's new limits for 2018 for people who are filing their returns, and there are going to be new limits for 2019 as well due to cost of living adjustments. So the point is, you can save more if your business is profitable and you're inclined to do so. It's a great thing to do, and especially like for a self-employed person to have a retirement plan such as a SEP, which is essentially like it's a kind of an IRA. It's so easy to do, and you just set it up with a financial firm and just put the money away every year. Just cut your taxes by your contributions. For a self-employed person, you can effectively put away 20% of your income every year. And if you do that, and you do that over a long term, you're set.
10 financial moves to make before the end of 2018.
One is you got to review your numbers and see where you stand right now. I mean, are you in a profit position? Are you in a loss position? And that will dictate what you do between now and the end of the year. Clearly, if you are, let's say you're in a profit position, you're in a good position. So that means that you likely have the ability right now to perhaps upgrade your equipment, write off the entire cost with new tax rules that enable you to do that. Set up a qualified retirement plan if you don't already have it. As a small business, not only do you get to write off the contributions that you make on behalf of employees, but you also can get a tax credit for setting up the plan and educating employees about participation. So again, you have to really, step back and look. If you're a cash basis business and it's been a good year, maybe you want to defer your income by not billing for things until late in the year so you don't get paid till next year. I think perhaps aside from you personally as an owner reviewing your numbers, the most important thing is to sit down with your CPA now and see what's advisable to do now. You do have time between now and the end of the year to make changes and take actions that will cut your tax bill and help your business to be in a better position going forward. Let's face it, today with a very low unemployment rate and a tight labor market, small businesses are being forced effectively to offer various benefit plans like health coverage and retirement benefits and such. And there are ways to do that won't break the bank. And yet you can still have an inducement to keep good employees and to bring on good new ones.
Well, I've saved the discussion that you and I have every year, the toughest, the most complex issue in my mind. You got an idea what it is?
No, I don't.
Healthcare.
Oh, healthcare. Yeah. Okay.
Healthcare, the problem and the solution.
Well, the good news on the healthcare front is that there's a new federal rule allowing for association health plans, and what these are allowing chambers of commerce, trade groups, and such to offer health coverage from the group market to small businesses and even self-employed individuals who otherwise wouldn't have access to coverage from the group market. They're limited to the individual healthcare market, which is much more costly. And some groups have already started to do it. The rule, I think, came out in September, and I know that there's some group in Vermont, for example. I spoke to somebody there, and they're offering it now. And
that's huge.
It's huge. It's huge. So what that will do to the cost of health care for small business owners, I don't know. On the flip side, there is a tax credit to allow small businesses to take a credit for up to 50% of the premiums that they pay if they meet certain requirements, depending on the number of employees and their wages and such. Frankly, very few businesses have been able to qualify for this credit. So the credit sounds so wonderful, but it hasn't been used as expected because nobody seems to be able to qualify for it. So maybe something could happen on the legislative front to improve the credit to make it more widely available.
Well, we've talked about a lot of things today, Barbara, on our 10th anniversary of this discussion. and I want to thank you for your time today. You've given me a lot of information that I'm going to take out to the marketplace, and of course, I'm going to give you credit for it. Let's talk about that for a moment. There's no if about it. Right now, go sign up. Go to Barbara at
No.
Barbara.
No. Go to bigideasforsmallbusiness.com. That's where you will be able to sign up for my idea of the day, for my monthly newsletter. You'll see my blogs there. You'll see a tweet chat calendar for if you want to participate in tweet chats, and much more. And it's at Big Ideas for Small Business.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time today, Barbara.
A pleasure.
And always, it's a great joy. I hope it's not I hope we don't wait a year from now. Let's come back in 6 months.
All
Let's
right.
come back in 6 months and see where things are, and we'll update today's discussion. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.